Okay, hey everybody, we're back. Day number 10.
Day 10, it's Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. So we only have 3 more questions on the Redeemed Marriage podcast, 12 Days of Questions. And I'm Rusty, this is Heather Bryant, and we're glad to be back answering another question. So Let's jump into it.
Good morning. Here is my question. Compromise. We've been married 19 years and are complete opposites, which is why we were attracted to each other, I guess. We have learned to compromise on a lot of things, but one of us has to give up what they really want and settle for what makes it work for both. It's a tightrope sometimes, not to feel resentful, to rarely getting what you really want.
Okay. Hey, thanks for that question. Yeah. That's actually from a follower in North Carolina. So, yes, compromise. Let's just start here. Several years ago, we've mentioned we went to a marriage intensive, and we learned all kinds of great tools. It was an unbelievable experience.
And we've talked about some of those already.
We have.
On this.
But they actually talked about this very subject, and they started it off, and this is how I want everybody to start retraining their mind a little bit. The question was asked about compromise, because that's the easiest way to describe what we're talking about. Right. When you have a conflict and you have to come to an agreement, you compromise.
Right.
But we actually learned the word compromise and the word negotiate are not good words to use in marriage.
Because they're negative.
That's right. They're negative words, and they both show that somebody has lost something. So they both kind of even give the impression that somebody has won and somebody has lost.
Right.
And really the thing is that you're on a team. And so if the team wins, then you win together.
That's right.
Team loses, you lose together. So if someone on the team loses, then you both lose. And so we've talked before about marriage being 100%, and I think this is kind of that case too.
That's right.
But they gave us a specific example, a specific tool to use when you get into a situation. Now compromises, which we're not going to use that word, but when you have disagreements on, when you're different, you come to these disagreements and you kind of butt up against it. I mean, they could be anything. They could be small and big. You give some examples of. So
when we were talking about this before, I said the one that sticks out in my mind the most is when we were talking about what to name Logan. Okay, we had Luke. We just thought, we had a girl name and a boy name all along. We had Luke. Logan comes along. We didn't have another boy name, and we were like, what are we going to do? Well, I was stuck on the name Holt. I wanted to name Logan Holt. And Rusty was like, sounds too country. Holt Bryant. And I was like,
what if somebody's watching and they
probably don't have the last name Bryant? It was the combination.
Yeah. Sound like a cowboy.
He wanted to name him Mark, which I love the name Mark, but I wasn't going to have Luke and Mark and everybody be like, where's Matthew and John? So I just wasn't going to do it. So for him to win and do Mark, I would have lost. And for me to say we're doing Holt, you would have lost. So we had to come up with an alternate that was a win-win for both of us.
Right.
And we came up with Logan because it goes Luke and Logan. It's a great combination. But
some things though are like really small and like
or bigger than that.
Yeah. But some things are small enough to where maybe one or the other. I mean, you have a different opinion, but one of them's not really strong enough where it really matters. Yeah, because that was actually mentioned.
Paint colors. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes one just may have a real strong preference, and the other one is, well, I'd rather have this, but yeah. And so that's fine.
Give.
You just give. So in a way, maybe you're compromising, but you're not, because you're still, it's a win.
If it's important to one of the people, let them have that.
Yeah.
Let them have that win. Because it's not worth fighting over or battling over.
So some things, though, could be much bigger than that. And some could even be much bigger than the naming of your kid, which that's a pretty big thing. Because that person's pretty much stuck with it.
Spots. goals, you know?
Yeah.
Like where you want to go on vacation. I mean, this can apply to lots of things.
And I think that's actually a really good one, the vacation spot. And so maybe we can take that and sort of look at these steps that we were taught how to kind of come up with a win-win.
Sure.
So I remember when we went to the intensive and they talked about if you have a situation or an issue where you're butting up against each other, one has this opinion, one has this opinion, how do you get to a win-win? Well, one of the first things they said, and this is not a bad idea when you're in a disagreement, is to pray about it.
Absolutely.
Just because you want to soften your heart and be willing to listen to what the other has to say, because your heart may change even in that.
And not be so defensive. And that anytime you pray together, those things just kind of fall.
And I think when you pray together like that, you're telling your spouse and you're telling each other, we want to get to a place where we're both winning in this. I don't want to be the winner and you the loser, and vice versa. We want to win in this together.
That's right.
The second thing is that you just basically brainstorm.
Yeah.
So look,
no idea is a bad idea.
That's right. And you can, so you get a sheet of paper or whatever, and you just start writing down all of the different options. So if it's a vacation, Heather loves the beach. I do not love the beach. I prefer mountains or something where there's just a lot of activity. So if we were doing this, we would just take a piece of paper and we would just start jotting down all of the ideas that we could come up with. So, what is it? Well, one of the options would be go to the beach. One of the options would be go to the mountains. One of the options would be go somewhere where there's a beach, but there's also an amusement park or something. You're brainstorming everything and you're putting down all of the ideas. Then you stop and you actually go through and you cross out every single one of them where one of you is losing.
That's right.
And so you're left with some options that both of you are kind of like, well, that's a win-win. I mean, I can do that. You can do that. We feel good about that. And then you choose one. I mean, that's it. Like, that didn't sound too hard, did it? Easier said than done.
That's right.
But no,
that's right.
you take one and you choose it. And then you make sure that you are reevaluating what you've just chosen. So you take it, you reevaluate, you make sure that both parties. So again, I don't think that this is a tool that you sit down for every single decision that you have to make. But it's a mindset. I think, before we started the video, that's what we said. We wanted it to become a mindset where it's not compromise. We're trying to get to a win-win. Not that one person's winning, one person's losing. How do we get to a win-win?
And after you do this for a while, you don't have to get out the dry erase board and you really think, like, even if you were to say, yeah, let's go to the beach, because what I love about the beach is just the ocean waves and sitting and relaxing. But if we did something, you would be mindful to say, okay, even if we don't go to the beach, I'm going to make sure you have opportunities where you get to just sit and read a book and
bring in the sound machine, make it waves and sounds like you're at the beach.
And I would be like, let's go hike up the beach. So you have to get to a point where you're mindful about, like, in reality, I would say, okay, if we did go to the beach, I would make sure that you guys had something that you could do throughout the day. Going, parasailing or canoeing or, just to have activities and not just, let's all go put our 4 chairs and read a book.
Right.
You just have to be considerate of the other person. And it's a like you said, it's a mindset of shifting your thoughts to how can we both win, and not just you lost part and I lost part.
Right.
No, how can we both be winners?
And then there's a danger in that, because you start kind of keeping tabs and a tally mark of, well, I gave in last time, so you're giving in this time. And it just needs to be, marriage is a team.
That's right.
And you get, as a team, the whole team wins or the whole team loses. So try to make that mindset. No more compromising, no more negotiating. Let's get to a win-win.
Yep.
So
love it. You're good there, babe.
Pretty simple, pretty practical, but hopefully that helps. Hopefully it'll change your mindset. Yep. So tomorrow we'll be back with
Christmas Eve,
day 11.
You think anybody will watch it on Christmas Eve?
I don't know. You think we'll actually find time to do one of these? we're gonna give it a shot because
Yeah.
we're having a good time. So thanks for
right.
watching, and we will see you tomorrow.